It's that time again, guys. Welcome back. This is UK.net's King of the Mid Tournaments. I'm just going to go ahead and press start on the game real quick so the players can load themselves in. But welcome back. This is day number 2. We are in the round of 32 still. And let's have a quick look at the bracket, not the rules, sorry. So the first game we're going to have coming up today is going to be AbuZe versus Yamiken. That's someone that's going to come up in any second, basically. And a couple of games to watch out for today. Obviously, all of them should be great games. That's what I'm hoping for. But 142 versus Farah, the third game of today that's coming up. It will be a Shadow Fiend versus Shadow Fiend matchup, so that's definitely one to check out. But for now, we're in AbuZe versus Yamiken. Let's check out the rules real quick. So, as always, it's no Soul Ring, no Bottle Crow, no neutrals of any kind. And providing that the in-game courier that is already provided in the new all-mid mode doesn't actually work, then you must give yourself an extra 150 gold to get an extra walking courier. And again, as far as the matchups go, they're all predetermined matchups, which both players will secretly veto a matchup, and then coin flips decide everything else. So we can see the matchups for this one. Pugna versus Storms. Now, a lot of people have said to me that they don't think the matchups coming out are all 100% fair, and after looking at them, there's a couple that I will change. And Pugna versus Storm Spirit is the one that I have removed for the next round, but as far as this round goes, it is still in there. So Pugna versus Storm Spirit is one of them. Zeus versus Tinker is a nice one we could see coming out today. A lot of burst damage coming out from both the heroes, where they'll be trying to get the pick off. And Rubik versus Invoker. Rubik has the early advantage, and again, any spell that Invoker uses, Rubik can use against him. We have a look at what the vetoes were. It was actually Zeus versus Tinker that were vetoed by both the players. So we are going to see the matchup of Pugna versus Storm Spirit. It was the coin flip at the end of the game. At the end of the day. So we're going to actually see that one coming into the match, which is one that, as I already mentioned, people were not that confident with it being fair, because it's a little bit in the advantage of Storm Spirit, I imagine. But we're going to get ourselves into the game real quick. We're going to see Yamiken. He's going to be playing up on the puck. Now, courier booked. Buy a new one. If it doesn't work, I've told the players to already check it. And he's got a nice little son, as well as 7274 is his team name. So I'm not sure what that represents. But yeah, both players are going to buy themselves new couriers. As we see Yamiken's faithful war dog, as it's aptly named. His nice little friend. As far as AbuZe goes, he's got himself his own Mighty Ball courier. And AbuZe, of course, is going to be playing on the Storm Spirit. So we are into the game, and both players are going to make their way to the mid lane. As far as the items actually go, Yamiken decided to go for a magic stick at level 1. This is pretty interesting, because as we see from Storm Spirit a lot in mid lane, Static Remnant is a spell that they really like to spam out to get those last hits. But AbuZe has decided to go for the Mantle of Intelligence, so he's going to get that extra little bit of right click damage, and we see he has just skilled up Static Remnant as well. So at the same time, he's also going for a Bottle Rush. He's got the eco build with an extra self, so he needs 500 gold to get that one. And as far as Yamiken goes, he needs a little bit more. Got one less branch, doesn't have any extra right click damage, but does have a clarity if he needs it. We do know that Never Blast is really going to help out the Pugna in this matchup, because of course it not only really pushes the lane, but it actually deals 33% of its usual damage to structures. So he can push towers, and he can also kill off the catapult creeps, or the siege creeps if you will. Yami? He's disconnected from the game. Not quite sure what that's going to entail, but that means that he will fail his block, unfortunately. So we are going to wait for Yamiken to get himself back into the game. So he's going to rejoin. Okay, so AbuZe is also going to go to the toilet. And we will actually see what's going to happen here. So AbuZe has gone to the toilet. Yamiken DC'd, so yeah, he's going to fail block. AbuZe gone piss. And he's gone again, so I'm not sure what's going on with Yami here. We may have to do a remake of the game if he continues to disconnect, which hopefully doesn't happen. But yeah, the way this matchup should work, and this is the idea I originally had upon creating this one, but I do not think it's fair at the end of the day. But Yamiken on the pug now. As before, Never Blast, you will be able to push the towers down really easily. And also the Never Ward as well, so you can see it's a little bit weird the way the Never Ward works, but basically whatever mana Storm Spirit actually uses, then the Never Ward will drain his health at level 4 equal to 1.75 times. Yeah, it actually does 1.75 times the mana that Storm Spirit uses in the form of damage. But here's what I was thinking. With the Never Ward and Ball Lightning, that's a lot of mana that Storm Spirit will actually use. But I don't think he's actually targetable during this period, so I'm not sure if Neverword actually works. It's happened twice, sure. Remake. So we are going to have a quick remake of the game as I just set up this lobby for the players to get themselves into. But yeah, as far as it works, like the Neverwood can be really effective if that's the way it actually interacts with Storm Spirit. We're not 100% sure on that one. So the way I see this matchup is that Pugna can push towers early and he can push them fast. And if he can push the Pugna off the lane as well, then he really should take advantage of the lane. But at the same time, Storm Spirit has a lot more killing potential in the lane than the Pugna does. So I could go either way. Basically, AbuZe needs to take this one as early as possible. And Yamiken needs to take it a little bit later on. He needs to try and get that level 7 up, get to level 4 in Neverblast, and just push Storm off. But it's very risky doing so with the Storm Spirit there. Yamiken got his ruder out of a happy meal. But yeah, it is also a possibility that Pugna can kill him. With the drain that comes out from his ultimate, he should be able to do it. But the question is, right, we're going to ask if the players are ready. But the question is if he can actually do it, because if Storm has the mana to jump away. Neverblast is a pretty silly skill. I'm not going to joke about that one. But it is questionable. So we're going to load ourselves back into the game again. Hopefully we don't have too many remakes today. This is the first one we've had in the first game, so that's a little bit worried. But we're going to let the players select their heroes now and go into it. So yeah, the question is, can Yamiken simply outpush AbuZe here on the Pugna? And we're going to actually see if this is a fair matchup or not. I have taken it out of the pool for the second round, as I'm still not sure on it. I think I might have been a little drunk when I created it in the first place, but I wanted to try and get a little bit different matchups going on, which is why this one was introduced. But I agree with Karma. Shout out to all the guys who's talking in the Twitch chat, by the way. I am reading all your comments. But yeah, Karma says that once Storm gets level 6, it's going to be really hard for Storm to actually die. But yeah, I still don't know how the interaction actually works between Neverward and Ball Lightning. But we will see. It's probably something I should have tested before giving the players this one, this matchup there. But we are going to get ourselves into the game any second now. And once again, I'll introduce the players once more. We have Yamiken, going to be playing on a Pugna. His courier is working. And AbuZe, going to be playing on a Storm Spirit, whose courier is also working, which is kind of a nice change. So Yamiken not going to see his faithful War Dog this game. And AbuZe. So I'm wondering how the players are actually thinking of this matchup. The question is if they've actually practiced it or not. Because the players, I know a lot of players were practicing the matchups. I did notice yesterday, while we were streaming a few of the games earlier on in the day, that Bustin, who unfortunately lost his game in the first round, was actually practicing with his teammate Will. They were practicing the matchup, and we are going to see the same items coming out from both players, which is really nice. And hopefully Yamiken doesn't get kicked out of the game again. And he'll be able to do his creep block effectively this time. He's going to stand it right in the centre of this little sun icon he's got there. I wonder if he's got flags as well. He does, he's got little suns on his flags. Whereas Mr. 420 over here, AbuZe, has no special artwork, but he has gone for the same build. He's gone for Static Remnant level 1. So it's a nice 140 damage that he can bring out. It's going to help him kill off the creep wave. He's really not going to do any damage to Yami, and Yami's walking back to base yet again. He's going to buy himself an extra courier. So he is going to buy his faithful War Dog. Bit of a late decision. I think his courier was working, but he might have just wanted his own. But hey, he's allowed to do that. We've said that the players can give themselves 150 gold to buy their extra couriers if their current ones aren't working, or if they just want to have their own courier.
The battle begins.
But now we're going to go ahead and start the game. Yami's not going to DC. This is good. He's going to go ahead and attempt to do the creep block. So this is the interesting part as well. Well, can the players block, and how much of an advantage will this give them? Both of them really have good nukes to clear out creep waves pretty early. We do see 100 damage on the Neverblast rates. I think it's 120 on Static Remnant. Yes, 140, sorry. So it's quite a big nuke at level 1 for Storm Spirit, but AbuZe will get the better block here. So the creep wave is going to come up to his high ground. And both teams are going to have the first creep get killed off. And there we go, we see the burst coming out from AbuZe, getting that first last hit for himself, but missing the second one. So he's going to use Static Remnant to farm, it seems, and this is why the Neverward can be really useful for Yamiken if he decides to use it. And don't forget, of course, the power of Decrepify. So he's going to give 40% spell reduction resistance, basically. And there's the first blast, going to hit on top of AbuZe, give himself a last hit as well. And at the moment it's 2 for 0 going away of AbuZe in last hits and 1 for 0 going away of Yamiken. And I'm going to quickly fix this one up because it never works for me for some reason first time. And then we see both players level 2. So Yamiken opting to go for the Decrepify, so he's going to try and put some harassment down with Decrepify into the Never Blast. Whereas AbuZe, he hasn't actually, he's holding on to his skill point at the moment, not choosing to skill up anything. He is going to go for the Overload, so that will give him a bit extra burst when he uses the spell. Basically the idea he wants to use here is Static Remnant, and he's going to throw an Overload auto attack off and do a little bit extra harassment damage to Yamiken. But at only level 2, this isn't really going to be that much harassment. And as we see, Yamiken doing a really good idea to go for this Magic Stick level 1. He's already got 3 charges up on that, which is going to give him some durability. And then we see a trade, Never Blast coming in, as well as Static Remnant and Storm Spray actually choosing to get the Electric Vortex at level 3. So he's going to have a full combo. He's going to be able to pull Yamiken in, drop himself a Static Remnant, and use the Overload auto attack. Maybe 2 of them if he manages to do it correctly. Yami at level 3, gone for level 2 Never Blast. Not really a surprise there. I'm a little bit more surprised at the fact for the level 1 Decrepify over the Never Ward. Because I thought he'd be using the Never Ward a bit more frequently to try and stop AbuZe from farming this much. And look at the power coming out from that blast. And there goes the Decrepify. And AbuZe is going to pull Yamiken in, but not being able to do much with it because he completely drained himself of mana with that first Static Remnant. So basically used a lot of his mana just to get one, what's it called, Overload off. And now AbuZe is going to get himself an Invis rune. He does have his bottle walking out to him, I believe. Yes, he does. Yamiken. Not quite got his yet, though. 9 for 1 up on Storm Spray in last hits. Yami has used his 6 charges now as well. In fact, where has Yami's gold gone? Is he just poor at the moment? Oh, he's upgraded his courier. So he's got himself a flying courier. It's a very early flying courier as well. A little bit surprised with that one. But 5 for 1 on him. AbuZe is going to get his bottle now. He doesn't actually give it himself. And it's walking away. AbuZe. There we go. It's coming back to him now. Must have just not realised his stat tangos or something. But 12 for 3 on the Storm Spray. This is not really a surprise compared to the 5 for 1 of Yamiken. So Storm definitely has the better last hitting power. But at the moment, as far as mana goes, Yamiken's got a lot more he can do with here. Obviously now AbuZe has his bottle. He's going to start spamming that up as much as possible. And that's an aggressive Never Ward place down by Yami now. He's expecting AbuZe to maybe use some Static Remnants under the tower. But AbuZe will know this Never Ward is down. It's in a little bit more of an obvious position. He's going to just right click it down. And that's going to give him an... Oh, nice deny by Yamiken. Really well played there. I think that Never Ward gives a bounty of about 40 gold at level 1. So that could have been a nice little pickup for AbuZe, but Yamiken doing really well to deny that one. Smart plays coming out there. So it's 15 for 5 on AbuZe. He's 10 last hits ahead of Yami at the moment. He's 5 for 2. Even though he's utilising this Never Ward, he's just... Sorry, not the Never Ward, the Never Blast. He's just not managing to get the last hits he really wants to here. And don't forget that the Never Blast as well, it can do damage to siege creeps. It can also do it to structures, so... This should be Yamiken's plan. As soon as he starts to drain Storm of more mana, as well as more health, he should be able to start pushing more effectively. Whenever AbuZe wants to go for the runes, Yamiken needs to make sure he's never blast that tower at least once. And just start picking away at it. Keep that pressure on. And Storm Spirit really controlling the game well with denies as well. 20 for 8 now compared for the 5 for 2. If we have a quick look at the net worth for the players, we're going to see it's actually double coming out for AbuZe now compared to Yamiken. And there is going to be a haste rune spawning top. Neither player is actually going for wards. In fact, I tell a lie. Storm Spray, AbuZe just bought himself some wards. He's flying them in and he's going to ward the rune. Instantly finding that it's a haste. And because he's opted for the bottle build and Yamiken hasn't, he really wants to get full rune control. And this is the pair of Storm Spray now. He's got himself a haste rune. And Storm with a haste rune can be very scary. He's actually got level 3 in the Electric Vortex, so it's going to be a 2-second disable coming out. Rather than leveling up the Static Remnants anymore. Or the Overload. It's a bit of a strange build actually. Not one that's commonly seen. There we go, back to the last hits. Still 8 for 2 compared to 27 for 8, and a nice aggressive ward just placed there by AbuZe. And he's going to bottle himself up now, nearly full mana. He's level 6 on the Storm Spray compared to 4 of the Pug now. So 7, and there's the Vortex coming out. He's going to pull Yamiken in. Unfortunately, he misses with the first Overload hit, which means he wasted his second one, and Yamiken now going to fly in his boots. So choosing not to go for the bottle, and he's going to drop a blast. It's not going to hit on top of AbuZe, but he's going to get himself a couple more last hits from it. But still at the moment, it's 21 last hits ahead is AbuZe right now. And Yamiken choosing not to go for these bottles, but going for the clarity instead, so he's going to regen mana at a slower rate. And AbuZe, obviously, maybe Yamiken thinks he's not going to have rune control, and to be fair, it wouldn't be wrong in thinking so, because Storm Spirit does have the ability to use Ball Lightning to go and get these runes. But as far as it stands, AbuZe really showing his dominance in this lane. And this should not be happening. Yamiken does have 2 more base damage, interestingly enough, so he should be able to win the last hitting battle. But as you can see, AbuZe getting an easy one there, and he's going to get himself a null talisman now. So AbuZe really looking for that extra right click damage as well as the early game presence he's going to have. But now Yamiken, he has decided to skill his life drain at level 6, and then we see that the rune is actually going to spawn bottom. AbuZe's going to make his way down there now, and it's going to be an illusion rune. So could use this effectively to try and push the lane a little bit further towards Yamiken's tower like it already is. And try and also get some more harassment down. 37 for 12 on the Stormsbreaker, prepare for the 12 for 2 of Yamiken on that Pugna. And now he's using the illusion runes interestingly. He's going to actually send them round towards the tower. So they could get killed off pretty quickly if he doesn't control these correctly. But at the same time, he might just be using them as vision, but there's the ward, so why would he need to? Now you see AbuZe, another static remnant, going to get himself 2 more last hits with that one. And I'm still pretty interested in this skill build going Electric Vortex max. It is going to give him a 2-second stun. Also, it's going to increase the mana cost though. But his overall damage output is significantly lowered, and Yamiken is playing so defensively in this lane. Really scared to go forward now. And I think he knows that AbuZe is definitely showing his control this game. He's going to keep on getting those last hits. So 43 for 13 now compared for the 16 for 2, and Yamiken's just going to try and kill this illusion off. Maybe he's getting bothered by it, and that's why he's been a little bit more defensively. Playing a little bit more defensively, sorry, but here comes the second one now. He's going to get one little right click on Yamiken. But meanwhile, AbuZe still dominating this lane. He's got full control over it right now. And he's level 8. He's gone for a second point into Overload. And he's holding on to a skill point still. Unless I can't count. But I can. So, yep. It's a nice little Never Blast hit. And Yamiken's going to keep on buying clarities here. Choosing not to opt for... Oh, that's unlucky not to get last hit. Still choosing not to opt for the bottle. He's holding on to his gold at the moment. He's got 690. Could get himself towards some phase boots maybe. AbuZe is going to carry on using those static remnants, still keeping him at level 1. Doesn't want to perhaps raise the mana cost too much because of that Never Ward presence that Yamiken can have. But Yamiken now has level 4 in this Never Blast. And he should be using this a lot more, should be pushing the lane. But because he's chosen not to opt for a bottle, he's really not going to have the mana to do so. Unfortunately, missing last hits under the tower. So now we see 51 for 5 on AbuZe compared for the 20 for 2. And this could be big. He's got himself an invisibility rune. Yamiken obviously having no wards at the moment, so he can't spot this one out. He's going to buy himself a magic wand as well as his first blades of attack, building towards those phase boots, which he's going to need to keep up with AbuZe essentially. But AbuZe, he could get himself first blood here. Yamiken's not aware. There goes the electric vortex. Static remnants as well. And there comes the jump coming in from AbuZe. A nice Never Blast coming in from Yamiken. And the drain's going as well. And AbuZe interrupts it with the ball lightning. And that will be first blood coming out from AbuZe.
I accept this honor on behalf of storms everywhere.
So AbuZe definitely showing his early game presence here. And then we have a quick look at the net worth. We're going to see that it's definitely doubled now. AbuZe 2,800 compared to the 1,400 of Yamiken. And the courier's sitting here with AbuZe's power tread. So he's going to have a nice advantage now. And we're waiting for Yamiken to respawn so he can get himself back into the lane. Obviously built that magic wand up. He didn't actually use his stick charges doing that, although he did have time. And that could have been a difference maker in that fight.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And unfortunately no gold for a TP coming out for Yamiken here, so he's going to have to walk back into the mid lane. And AbuZe has his power treads. He buys himself up a second null talisman, as well as another set of observer wards. He must be thinking that this isn't going to last too much longer, as he's going for early game items rather than trying to get a little bit more farm and take it a little bit later. We see him now. As far as assets go, 58 for 16. And it's actually going the other way in terms of the tower damage. Yamiken has not yet touched AbuZe's tower. And AbuZe, that's really not a nice thing to say. You should be able to see the last hits coming out from Yamiken and realise that that's a little bit bad manners. But yeah, so compared to me now, but how Yami's taking it lightheartedly, so that's alright. But yep, over double last hits coming out for AbuZe at the moment. Same with the net worth. AbuZe now is going to fly himself in that extra set of wards, that extra null talisman. And Yamiken, he really needs to start pushing this lane out, and AbuZe is starting to get levels up, which is scary. Level 10 now on the Storm Spree. We've got 4 in the Overload, we've got 3 in the Vortex, and 2 in the Static Remnants as well. So AbuZe really has the presence to push this lane out. And he's going to put a very aggressive ward on the high ground so we can jump on Yamiken whenever he feels like it. In fact, the 10-minute rune, it has spawned bottom. It's going to be a double damage, and AbuZe is definitely gonna get this one. And that means that he could, with this aggressive ward, easily kill Yamiken if Yamiken doesn't play carefully enough. And Yamiken, I'm guessing this is his phase boost flying out to him. It is indeed. So he's going to have a little bit of speed to possibly get away from Storm Spirit. But Storm currently has a 900 mana pool. And Ball Lightning's costing him 77 per second. Oh, actually not per second, it's per 100 units, sorry. But here we go. Double damage rune. Going to be picked up by AbuZe. Nearly warped straight back into the mid lane. Not seeing it there. Now Yamiken with the phase boots. Every time it storms out of lane, Yamiken should be using his Everblast. But he's so scared at the moment to come into the lane. And rightfully so. This DD on Storm. Storm obviously with his high ground ward as well. You will know that Pugna's sitting so far back in his tower. He's just going to walk past. He's going to take a right click for his troubles. Now we're looking on Yamiken's skill build. He's actually going to level up to Crepify first, so what it's going to give him is a bit more duration, and Storm Spirit's really not about the right clicks. He obviously uses Overload to get a bit more damage out, and with the first max going towards Overload, it's not the dumbest of choices, but at the same time Neverwood would be such a better skill versus a Storm Spirit. Obviously with the mana that he uses with Ball Lightning, as well as Vortex and Static Remnant. It's a lot of mana and potentially a lot of burst that can come out from Yamiken. But again, he's just playing so defensively. 68 for 20 on Storm Spirit and last hits for 30 for free coming out the way of Yamiken. And you can just see the level difference. He's got 2 full levels on Yami right now. He's finally going to walk forward and put an Everblast off and start to push his lane maybe. But AbuZe is going to jump in. He doesn't have a DD anymore, but it shouldn't matter. It does have enough burst to keep Yamiken down. Sit charges are going to be effective, but Yamiken just stands there. He takes it like a man, and AbuZe will win the round. He's going to get himself in through to the round of 16. And Yamiken, unfortunately, is going to be eliminated. So good game coming out from both players. AbuZe definitely showing his control. I love Storm Spirit's voice. AbuZe definitely showing his lane domination there. But stay tuned, guys. Next game will be coming up very shortly. Have a quick look at the bracket. Find out who it is. I can't actually read that because my preview screen is so small. We will have Hammed. I'm going to ask him before we go into it. Versus Kamehameha. So stay tuned, guys. We'll have that game coming up for you real soon.